Welcome back, everybody. Thank you so much for clicking on today's video. And today we're going to go over Uber, what I think of Uber, what I invest in Uber, and what do I think about Uber's business growth and its model, its business model. And we're going to start here with the 5-year chart. If you took a look at the 5-year chart, company IPO'd May 10th of 2019 at $45. And to be honest, it's kind of been just a downhill trend for this company. I mean, it's had its ups and downs and stuff like that, but even taking a look at its 1-year chart or its 3-month chart, I mean, the company, it's all over the place. And the reason I think that is because although Uber is a decent company, I think the business idea that it was approaching, it's too replicated already, right? It's not like Uber came up with this great innovative idea to let people drive people around and stuff like that. You have to take a look at a perspective that, you know, forms of travel and other ways of just your own transportation have already been invented, have been around for a long time. I mean, there's subways, there's buses, there's taxis. It's not like Uber is that much more convenient than like a taxi. They may be a little bit cheaper, but that's always going to vary. And let alone too, I mean, it has a big competitor, Lyft, which is also pretty dominant. And I know its prices are cheaper. So I think that does hurt its competition, and I think it does hurt its business a little bit. But I think just as a stock itself, I think the reason why Uber doesn't do that well as a company is because its overall business idea, it's a decent one, but it doesn't seem like it's going to be a profitable one. I mean, if you take a look here, their expected EPS is negative 86 cents. They're holding earnings on the 6th of August, which is this week. I don't even expect them to be that good of earnings, in all honesty. If you take a look at all their past earnings, I mean, they're all non-profitable earnings, which just says a lot about the company itself. I mean, it's basically showing that the company, it's not profitable. It's not bringing in profits. I know it's quick to judge, and I know that companies can turn themselves around. If you take a look at Tesla wasn't profitable for a very long time. Within recent years, it started to show more of a profit. I think what's hurting Uber, it's just its linear business strategy. It's not trying to expand itself in different avenues like other companies are, which is why I think that Uber in term is not going to be a good long-term investment. I know they acquired Postmates, which they're trying to expand their delivery service, which is a good idea in my opinion. I think that Uber Eats is kind of like the side that Uber really wants to pay attention to now. Why? Just because, I mean, driving people around as a main business line, it's already a replicated idea, and its growth is already capped. I mean, it can't magically just grow more, right? And it's something to keep in perspective when you're investing in a long term, and you're looking at Uber for the long term. You have to look at the company as like, how is this company going to grow from where it's currently at? The way I look at Uber, it just doesn't seem like the company is growing in the right direction. I don't think the company is actually headed in the right direction. I think what Uber needs to do is it needs to start capitalizing on the situation, its business plan, and it needs to restructure and start exploring different avenues, or I could see potential bankruptcy for this company. Not necessarily in the next 2 or 3 years, but maybe down the line, I'd say the next 5 to 10 years. I honestly wouldn't be surprised to see Uber filing for bankruptcy. And like I said, there's so many ways of travel these days that most people aren't always going to just go straight to Uber. And the reason I say this is just because, I mean, if you take a look at the stock itself, I mean, you're taking a look at a company that's consistently posting up, I mean, horrible earnings, right? The company, it's got so many competitors, and the market is so concentrated that Uber's long-term growth it's capped. It doesn't really have that much to go, nowhere to go. I mean, if you take a look at its 1-year chart, it's not like a consistent growth up, right? I mean, people, when they're looking for long-term investments, they don't want a company that's going up and down, up and down, up and down. Yes, it can have dips. Yes, it can go down a little bit. But I mean, if you take a look at this company overall, its consistent growth is not linear. It doesn't have linear growth. Me personally, I would never take a stake in Uber or Lyft. I would not invest in these companies. And the reason I say this is just because I just don't see the actual bullish opinion behind Uber and Lyft. I personally, as my personal opinion, don't see any bullish case for Uber and Lyft. I think the company it's just basically a borrowed idea made into its own company. There's nothing really innovative about Uber that makes it different from its competitors or other forms of travel, right? And let alone too, I mean, most people these days, they don't always want to be in a specific someone else's vehicle, you know, especially in today's situation, right? With COVID-19 running around. I personally don't feel comfortable getting into a car, which I don't know if it's been cleaned. I don't know if someone else has been riding in it and stuff like that. So it's something to keep in perspective that Uber's growth, it's coming to a halt, and I'm curious to see where the company goes here in the next 5 to 10 years, if not to become bankrupt. Like I said, I personally wouldn't invest in Uber. I just don't see the bullish case behind it. I don't see its linear growth. I mean, even taking a look at it, all its, you know, stock charts, I mean, the company's all over the place. It's not a consistent climb up like the S&P 500 or other stocks that are consistently growing. But with that being said, guys, I mean, this is just all my opinion, but that's all I really have to say about Uber. And with that being said, thank you so much for clicking on today's video. Please subscribe to the channel and leave a like on the video below.